Vinhos Playthrough Version 2.
Okay, we're back with version 2 of our Vinhos playthrough. We will have keys still on the channel, and I'll have a link in the description. We've shot this one time before, but we made a couple mistakes along the way, and that's the way we've been playing it for the previous 12, 13, however many games it's been. I would say our main two mistakes that we've been making, and we'll address this during the playthrough, is when we've been putting down a vineyard, we've been essentially doubling up on the bonus. When you purchase a vineyard, you put it within your estate and you get a bonus. Now, that only is supposed to count for the first vineyard in said estate. What we've been doing is we've been putting an additional vineyard down in the estate and taking the bonus again. We should not be doing that.
We like to double dip, apparently.
Apparently, we like to double dip. Another major rule that we've been kind of breaking as well is when we play two players within the export market, there are essentially 9 spots for 2-player games, and then the other player version, I think there are 20 spots. So we've been playing with the full gamut of 20 when we should have been playing with 9, which makes a lot of sense because it makes it a lot tighter. So those are our main errors. A couple additional errors that we have made are just, I would say, more small minutiae errors in terms of putting the experts. With 2 players, we never run through these, so we've just put them to the side. I guess we are supposed to put them underneath the stack, something we would do in a 3- and 4-player game. I feel like there's probably a couple more in there, but we've both gone back over the rule book. We're ready to replay it again at the proper rules this time, and then we're going to come back to the table and give our points discussions.
Absolutely, and we'll let you know for replayability if anything changes now following the proper rules rather than our slightly erroneous rules. Alright, so we are now at the table. We'll give you a quick overview of how to score points in this game. So the goal of the game is to get the maximum number of victory points you can. There are several ways to do this, and they are listed here. So money at the end of the game will score you points, as will wine tokens that have not been turned in to the export market, sales, or fair. Your export will win you or will get you points, as well as end tile or end game tiles, which look like this. So once you have your wine, you're producing wine, you have a few options of what to do with that wine. You can send it to the export, which will gain you immediate victory points, as well as some end game bonuses. You can sell it for money. Money in this game, especially at the beginning, is quite tight. And the other thing you need to do at least 3 times within the game, or actually 3 times within the game, is send wine to the fair. So you want to impress the 3 judges and produce the best wine that meets at least 2 of the judges' requirements in order to gain barrels. You need the barrels in order to go to the sales and export market, as well as for any of the end game bonus tiles. So overall, that's the goal. You do this by buying vineyards for your estates, which you have 5 of on your player board, and you have to choose vineyards to produce red wine and white wine, and each area of Portugal produces a different wine, and you can only have 1 type of wine in each vineyard. So as first player, I'm able to choose my vineyard first. So at the beginning of the game, you get 1 vineyard. I'm going to select vineyard number 5. It is a white wine, and the bonus, as it's the first one in my estate, will be a farmer meeple, which will give me a +1 in my production. I will receive a 2 white, because that is what the vineyard produces on its own.
Okay, and you will put down your little player icon and add one of these renown cubes. What these renown cubes do is later on when you're selling your wine, either the export market or to stores, or if you're taking it to the wine fair, you can pull it off and get a +1 value on your wine. So I will put that down for you. Now the first vineyard is always free. So there are a couple of vineyards on the board that cost less money. Some of them cost $4 or bagos. Some of them cost $3, and the majority cost $5. So typically on my first move, I like to take one that costs $5. I'm going to go ahead, and I'm just, because this was the one I took last time when we played this, I'm going to take the same one now, just kind of quote-unquote get it over with. I'm going to grab Vineyard 3. So I'm going to put my disc down. I'm going to put my Renown Cube down. With Vineyard 3, you get 2 of these Porto bottles, or they're chits if you have the non-Kickstarter version. What these allow me to do is, as Lisa grabbed a 2 wine to start the game, everybody essentially gets a 2 wine to start unless you grab certain tiles which give you a bonus. I'm going to trade in my 2 wine, or one of these wine bottles, to get +3 right off the start, which is what I'm allowed to do at the start of the game from a production, and I'm going to start the game with a 5 instead. Probably not the smartest thing to do, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I hope I'm not cheating. Okay, so since we've done that, now in reverse player order, if you're playing a 4-player game, all 4 would choose. Then in reverse player order, you would come over here and you get to select these action tiles. These come out within a 2-player game. There's 6, and then there's slots on the board if you're playing 3 players or 4 players. These tiles are essentially free actions you can do during the game. Within the game, there are regularly 13 actions, but you can take additional actions with all these bonus actions. I would say towards the end of the game, you're probably 18, 20 actions. So for my option, I'm going to choose, which one should I choose? I'm going to take this one right here. This is the Farmer. I think that's what he's called. Mm-hmm. And if I flip that over during the gameplay, I can, for $1, purchase a Farmer, which would normally cost me 2, and I don't have to waste an action going there. So that is going to be the one that I select. Now you may select. And this gets refilled at the end, not during.
All right, I am taking this one. That lets me go to the fair. When I go to the fair, my wine will be worth 2 additional points.
Which is good. That would be worth a number of victory points. Okay, I'm going to refill. And then we are going to get started in the game. So within the game, Lisa's first. Her disc is up here. This disc order will change during the game depending on when we go to the fair and which one of these action spaces we take as a bonus. As well, there is this marker here, and it moves along the board based on what round we're in. Movement is free if it's within one spot of where you're standing, but if you want to, let's say there's somebody here, for example. Say we're both here and somebody wants to move down here. That's two moves, or you're hopping a space, it costs you $1. As well, if you come into a space with another meeple, you owe that player $1. If you come into a space with the player marker, or the round marker, you owe the bank $1. So, with all that said, the first thing we'll do at the start of the round is flip over the weather tile. The weather tile dictates what our wine production is going to look like for the year. So you have your base vineyard. Each vineyard produces a level 2 wine, and then depending on how many you have, or bonus tiles on top of it, or bonus workers such as this, you can get additional bonuses. And then at the end of all that, you also have to factor in what is going on with the weather. The weather is going to give us a +2 production. So every vineyard we have is going to be a +2 production at the end of the year. Okay, excellent. You are first.
All right, so for my first action, since I do have some money to spend at the moment, I am going to walk myself over to here so that I can buy additional vineyards. So at this point, I am allowed to buy up to 2 if I can afford them. And we did set up the board wrong. Typically, you would have the reverse side showing so that we know how much they cost. But that will change our order of wine, so we are not going to flip those over at the moment. But I am going to be purchasing a number 7 for $5. And that allows me to gain 2 of these. So I am going to take this one here because it allows me to reorder the vineyards so that I can choose the red or the white depending on what I need for my vineyard. And I'm also going to choose this one here, as each time I flip it over, I'm able to get $2. And twice during the game, I could flip it back over. Now, with that said, I'm allowed to buy 1 additional, so I need to put my disc down and my renown cube, and my additional vineyard is going to be a number 4, which I know happens to cost an additional $5. And as they're from separate regions, each time I am allowed to get a bonus. So this one comes with a cellar. Put my disc down and my cube on.
Done?
And I am finished.
Okay, I'm going to move up here. I want to purchase vineyards as well. I guess I could do it next turn because Lisa's going to vacate this space and I could save myself $1. Unfortunately, I would have to still have a good move to go towards. Up here, since the player marker's up here, I would owe the bank $1. Since Lisa's here, I'd owe her $1. So, with the +2 weather, I want to buy something this year. But at the same point, I'd like to do it in a way where I'm not wasting an additional $1 because money is tight, especially at the start of the game. If I come over here, I can buy one of these workers, but I'd be wasting a whole action, and you have to put them onto a vineyard right away. I only have 1 vineyard, so at most, I'd be coming over here to purchase 1.
And you do have that bonus action.
I have the bonus action, but the thing is, I would not be getting my maximum value out of doing that. I think I'm going to come up here. I'd rather give the bank $1 than Lisa $1. So, $1 there. I'm going to purchase 2 vineyards. The first vineyard I'm going to purchase is going to be number 2, Minho. Hope that's how you pronounce it. Minho. I will put down my marker and my renown cube. This is a $3 vineyard. So have I already paid for that, I guess is the real question. 15, 17. I have not. So I need to pay for that right now. So that cost me $3. That's the cheapest vineyard in the game. The bonus on that, there's no real bonus. The bonus is how cheap it is. I'm not allowed to put a cellar on there. So my wine can come out, but I can only keep it for 2 seasons, whereas if you put down a cellar, as Lisa's done, you can hold on to your wine for 4 seasons. But I've done that for a reason, and my reasoning and logic is once you get later on into the game, if you want to get some of these tiles, you have to trade out a wine. So trading out a cheap wine is a lot less painful than it is to trade out a good wine. So that is my first action. My second one I'm going to buy for a full $5 is over here in Deo. I will put a renown cube on. I will put my marker on as well, and that gets me a cellar. Now the cellars can go anywhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cellar over in my land of Porto. So now I have my 5, which is beginning to age, and it's going to be pretty nice by the time it gets to the 4th year because it'll get a +5 bonus. So I have done that. I've put down my renown cubes. That is my first turn. Your turn, Lisa.
Excellent. So I'm willing to pay for my movement. So I am going to moach myself up to buy a winery. It's going to cost me 1 in order to go up there. And then, because I'm allowed to do it twice, I am going to pay $6 in order to buy 2 of these. In the deluxe, they're actually little wooden houses or wineries. Otherwise, they are just small chits. And I am going to put them on 2 different vineyards. They do take up one of the spaces in your estate. So the maximum I could put here would be 2 other vineyards, which would make sense because there's only 2 of any kind of grape. But I can opt to put a second winery there if I wanted to.
Okay, and by doing that, she gets to put down renown cubes, which I will do for her. Each one comes with a renown cube.
Excellent.
Okay, on my turn, I've moved down here. After a quick rulebook check, I will purchase this tile. What this tile allows me, this expert allows me to do is I can flip him over at one point, and I can get one of my barrels back from anywhere on the board, whether it be a bonus tile that I've put it onto, whether it be the export or the selling market, or whether it be the export market. I will additionally buy the guy underneath him just because he gives me $2 and I need some money. So in total that cost me $2. So 1, 2, 3 back in. At the end of my action, I'm going to flip this guy over. You can do it you can't do it during an action, but you can do it before or after essentially your action, just before the end of your turn. I'm going to flip him over. For $1, he allows me to purchase one of these farmers and put them on one of my vineyards. What this guy does, at the end of a production turn, you get +1 to what your production is. So I'm going to put him... this is a tough call. I'm going to put him... I'll put him here just because I'm really trying to buff up my production for a really strong wine early. So that is my second action, and since I'm second player, that should be the end of the round, correct?
Yeah, so we're going to move ourselves over to production, which is where we use the weather tile and the +2. So now we calculate our production for each of our vineyards, and we age the wine we have. So in my case, I have +1 for the winery, +1 for the farmer. My vineyard's worth 2, and it's a +2, so I will receive a 6.
You can keep going down the chain there.
So for my next one, it's a it's a 2 red, +2, so I will receive a 4 red. Here I have +1, so it'll be a 3 plus the 2, so it will be a 5 white. And that goes in my cellar, so it automatically gets a +1.
Okay, I'm going to receive 2 4s, 1 red 4, 1 white 4, because I get 2 plus the 2. Over here, I have my base 2, which all vineyards provide, plus my worker gives me +1, so now I'm at 3. I'm going to trade in my bottle of Porto, which gives me another +3, so I'm +6. And now, I'm 6 total, and now I get the 2 from the production, so I'm going to get an 8 in this one vineyard, or estate over here. Does that seem correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that is the end of year 1. Player order has not changed, so Lisa will be first to start off year 2, season 1.
All right. Well, I have a lowly $3 left.
Oh, one sec. One thing we should do right away is flip the weather tile.
So what I'm going to do is...
+1 this year.
I am going to flip over my $2 and gain $2, please. So I'm going to start off my turn like that. So now I have $5. So with my $5, I am going to migrate down here. I'm only able to purchase one of each. So that is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put my oenologist, so my wine scientist there. And then I'm going to add my farmer to the same location. Just like Matthias, I'm going to try to buff up my 1 wine. Over to you.
Okay. I'm just trying to think, do you want to look in the rule book while I go to see about the renown cubes? Just because I have a feeling what your next move is going to be. Okay, on my turn, I have $8. I think probably my best thing to do would be is to come back, and I think I'm going to go ahead. I was going to purchase 2 vineyards. I guess the one issue I'm going to have by doing that is I'm going to be out of money. So one thing I can do to kind of escape that situation right now is I can flip this guy over, my +2 guy, to grab $2. Now I will jump up. I'm going to purchase a couple vineyards. I'm going to purchase another one of my $3 vineyards. Now this one will be red though, so it's different. It will come down here. I do not get any additional bonuses from just purchasing. Even though it's gone to a new estate, this is the one that doesn't allow me to sell, or it's just a cheap vineyard. And then, just kind of taking a look here to see what's going on. I never really go this heavy straight up into all these vineyards at the start, but I think I'm going to keep this going. I think I will purchase a vineyard over here. I should have paid for that. I apologize. There's my $3 in. I'm going to purchase a vineyard in Lisboa and put it down here in its own separate vineyard. So that's going to get a cube. That's going to get my marker. Cost me $5, so now I'm down to the $2 that I flipped. And I get one of these vineyards. I'm going to put it in the same estate. And that is my turn.
Excellent. Well, you were slightly on the right track for my turn, but a little bit off. I'm actually going to sell
That's where I
one.
thought you were going. Well, because otherwise you couldn't have. I know you want to get rid of this too. You didn't want to lose it.
Actually, I'm okay with losing it because I need money.
Okay.
So with the need of money, I'm actually going to take my 4 down here. So I need one of my barrels. It's a 4 red. And I am going to take $4.
That's all you're doing?
That is all I'm doing. I do not want... And yes, you are allowed to use renown cubes only if the 4 red was not available. I could use a renown cube to go up to a 5, but otherwise in the sales area, you cannot use renown cubes just because you want to, whereas in the export, you can.
Okay. My last action for the year, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to purchase at least one of these. I'm going to purchase a green just to diversify. And then I'm going to purchase another green. So I've spent out $2 to purchase 2 of these experts. I brought in 2. I have a total of 4. You're allowed to use 1 per turn. But what I'm doing is I'm kind of getting myself ready potentially for the upcoming fair, where I may be able to trade in one of these per color to get some additional fair points. Okay, that is it. So now we're doing a
go to production.
So we're going to slide everything over.
At a +1. So I'm actually going to lose my 2 white.
So I'm going to get a 4. I'm going to get 2 4s because of the +1 here. So 3 plus the 1 for the season. Here is as well 2 plus 1. So 4 for the season. And everything else I'm going to get is a 3.
And for my turn, I'm going to get a 5, a 3, and a 7 because I've added the additional worker who's worth 2. So this is worth 3, 5, 6, and 1 for the bonus is 7.
Okay.
All right, and now we are into round 3. Still of the same year, so we're producing our wines for this first fair. Now is the time where we may elect to go to the fair early and not wait until after production if we want to secure a certain bonus. So with my turn being first...
Oh, you get your barrel back. So you get 1 barrel back per turn since you only used 1. You start the game with 2 barrels, and by meeting certain criteria that the judges have, each year you get an additional barrel. So now that we're on the turn, let's explain this tile. I will superimpose what this tile is that we're looking at. It is a +1 weather tile, but it has these red markers for experts. You're allowed to trade in 1 expert per color that's listed on here, and you get the bonus. If you trade in a regular red expert, you get +3. If it has that little hook thing, you get another +1, so you get 4 for that. And then if you trade in a green, you get +1 or +2. So I kind of bit myself in the butt there last time because I didn't diversify. I purchased 1 green. I did not purchase a red. I was thinking about doing it, but the +2 was too alluring for me at the time. So that is, you can do that to buff up your fair points. to meet the certain judges' criteria. If you meet a judge's criteria, you get to take a wine barrel from that spot. So for this fair, the criteria for the Judge A, Annabelle, is a white wine. So we'd have to submit a white wine. B, for Bruno, you have to submit an 8 or higher wine. And C, it has to come from vineyards 1, 4, 7, and 8. So we both have vineyards from vineyard 4. Her vineyard 4 is a very strong white wine. Mine is very weak. So she also has a 7, and neither one of us have an 8. So just looking ahead, you can kind of see, all right, which wines am I going to submit to the fair?
I do have an 8.
And no, like I mean a vineyard 8.
Oh.
Which ones am I going to submit to the fair, and then which wines can I potentially use to export or sell at the shops locally? Okay, now that I've explained all that, it is your turn, honey. I apologize.
That is absolutely all right. It's given me some time to think. So, even though I don't like the idea of having to pay him, I am going to go up here and make a purchase. So, first, because I've joined him, I have to pay him. And now I am going to first select a red before I make my decision as to what I'm doing next. So, I've taken my red, and I'm going to take a second red, and I will explain why. See the little hook on here? That means that I will get that bonus 1 point if I choose to turn this one in. So I will take that because I know that he has been collecting these. Therefore, he's likely to use them. And if I want to have a hope in making this fair and doing well and potentially beating him, I'm going to need all the help I can get. You're up.
So you only purchased 1?
I purchased 2.
Purchased 2, okay. And you threw your money in?
Yes, I did.
Okay. On my turn, I'm going to come over here. Which one am I? I'm purple. Okay. I'm going to come sell some wine, and I'm going to sell my 4. I have a couple 4s that are otherwise going to age out. So I'm going to sell a 4 red and a 4 white. So I will get $8 for that. Now what I'm going to do, I only get one of these barrels back. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this guy over. He lets me get a barrel back right away. So I'm going to flip him over, and I'm going to take a barrel off of my 4 red spot and just bring it back into my cubby. That is my turn.
All right, so we are going into the second turn, which is the last turn before we are forced to go to market. Or, sorry, to the fair. So at this point, I could choose to go to the middle, go to the fair first, which means I would beat him to the fair. But I can also choose to have a turn. And in this case, because I'm so short on money, I'm going to, unfortunately, pay him. And the reason for that is my wine is going to age out otherwise. So as it ages, I'm going to lose it if I don't do something. So I'm going to move down here. Again, luckily I have $1 left. I'm going to pay him for the second time, which I do not enjoy. But such is life. Now, my 6 white is going to age out. So I'm going to go there for 1. You are allowed to go twice. So I am then going to also sell my 3 red and go here. And that will give me a total of $9, please.
I don't know if I kept your money or I threw it out. I'm going to see if I just threw it out. Okay. Is that your turn?
That is my complete turn.
Okay. Well, that changes up what I was going to do. I was going to do something different. Thus why I took my barrel back. But now that she's left this space, she gave me the $1 and came down, I'm going to come up here. I am going to, right before I do that, I can flip over one of these per turn. I'm going to flip that over for $2. Then I'm going to take those $2 and just give it right back to the bank. I'm going to purchase these 2 experts that will give me, both of these will give me the bonuses come fair time. Okay, we're back. I had to stop, grab a glass of wine, provided by 13th Street Winery in St. Catharines. Thank you. Okay, so we were heading right into production. Lisa questioned whether or not we need to flip the tile for the fair. We've both come to the conclusion you do not have to do that. We've never played it like that, but I think we're both a little trepidatious after our errors the last time around. So what we're going to do is, before we head into the fair, we have to do our production. So step one of production, and this is always the easiest thing to do, is if you have wine barrels in here, take them. So grab one. You get to choose.
I only get one.
So you want to be strategic about that. So she's chosen to be strategic there, because sometimes if you feel like you're going to block somebody else's production going into there in the future, you'd rather leave that one. Nonetheless, I only have one, so I'm going to take this back. Now we're going to age everything. So we're going to age along. And since I sold, I didn't have to lose anything, which was nice.
And same with myself.
And now we're going to go to production. It is +1. So it's essentially the same as last turn. So I'm going to get a couple of 4s, and then the rest will all be 3s. So that's a 4. That's a 4. After you, my dear. I got 3s down here. 1, 2, 3. I have to say that the whole sorting system that the game comes with is awesome. Whether it's like the Kickstarter version or just the regular deluxe version, which there's nothing really regular about it, it's awesome. The wine tiles come in like this little tray, and everything else is just well sorted. It's easy to get to the table. It doesn't take all that long for setting up, other than just like some of the wine barrels. Isn't that big of a deal.
All right, and once our production is complete, we are going to move into the first fair. So, because neither of us took the action as one of our actions doing our press release during regular play, it is in regular player order. Seeing as I'm first, works out nicely for myself. So, seeing as I have a wine that is fairly strong from 4, and you don't always have the luxury of having a wine from one of those vineyards, I'm going to choose that. It happens to be a white, which is amazing. So I am going to take my 8 white because of my +1 cellar. Then I'm going to take 1 renown cube.
And we're allowed to do this.
From 4.
I hope so.
So now,
just give it back to me, I guess.
That's an 8. That makes it a 9. And then, because I have both a green and a red, I'm going to use both of these. So, for the red, I will receive 4 points because I have the little hook. And on this one, I will receive 2 points because I have the little hook arrow. So, these tiles are worth 6 points for myself. I had a 9, so I am at 15. And because I am the first player, I'm going to take myself over here. It will put me last in player order for next round, but I will take the extra 3 points to get on my road. And I'll use this tile here. That gives me a +2. So that will give me 20 points overall, which will be quite difficult for him to catch up to on the first fair. And the other thing with the fair, you do not start back at 0 every round. It constantly builds, so it is that much harder for anyone to catch up to you if you have a good distance between you on round 1.
Okay, so it's cumulative. So this has to flip over. She has to give these back. They go at the bottom of the stacks. Why is this one?
Oh, sorry. That's this one.
No, it's this one right here. I just grabbed them both.
Oh, you grabbed them.
I grabbed them, yep. So they just go on the bottom of the stacks. Okay, she has 20. Now, I bought a couple of these experts myself to narrow the gap. I didn't think I was going to beat her with that +2 tile, but let's see what happens. I'm going to trade in. So I'm just kind of looking to see what I have going on here. I can trade in 11, 17. I cannot beat her. Oh. It is not going to happen. Yeah. Do you want to go back? You did A and C. Yes. I'm not going to beat her, so it's a matter of how close do I want to keep things. I only have 1 renown cube up there. I'm not going to use it. In a 2-player game, it becomes interesting. And I say that based on how far behind you want to get. Because the way it works is the first place gets the first place victory points. Whoever's second gets the second place victory points.
Gets the third place.
Third place victory points. So she's going to get 9 regardless. I'm going to get 3 regardless. Next turn, it could be a 12-4 split. And then the last turn, 15-5. So I have a couple options here. I can either try to put up a good fight with her throughout the game, or I can kind of let her, if I let her run away too much, then she doesn't feel any incentive to keep giving away her good high wines to the fair unless she can get the barrels out. So I'm kind of in like a little bit of a rock and a hard place here as she's tapping me under the table to get on with it. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to trade out a 4 white plus a renown cube, so 5. I'm going to trade this in for an additional 4, so now I'm at 9. And I think that's it. I'm going to just kind of, I'm going to get close, but I'm going to stay far enough behind that I have some options. For my bonus, I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to get $3. So I move ahead in player order.
Yeah, so you went down to
3, and she went to 4. So now the next turn it'll switch up. So I will get my $3 now. So now, in player order now, I'm not sure if it becomes player order. I think it does become player order. We get to select out of here.
Yes.
So that's one of the bonuses. So now we can select a couple of these tiles if we give away a wine.
Oh, and we flip these back over.
At the start of the round. So you don't get to do that now. So I'm going to... The reason I got these cheaper vineyards was so I could start loading up on some of these bonus tiles. So that's essentially what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to throw away a 3 white from this estate. You have to get rid of a wine barrel to grab one of these tiles. And I'm going to grab this export tile here. Your turn.
All right. I am going to get rid of a 3 red. And I am going to take the cellar.
Okay. I'm going to get rid of a 3 white once more. And I'm going to grab this tile, which will let me put a oncologist, I think they call them, within one of my vineyards to increase some of my production. Okay, your turn.
I think I'm going to hold.
I'm going to get rid of one more, just because otherwise I'm just going to age it out and lose it anyways. Actually, no, I'll keep my lowly 3 red. I don't see the value. No, again, rock and hard place. I'll hold on to it. Okay, so that's, we wipe these. And then there will be, within a 2-player game, you end up getting 1 additional green comes out. And then we fill up the rest with the purple. The purple are end game bonuses, and you have to put a barrel on them for them to activate. Within that round, based on how I did things, I'm only going to get 1 barrel down, which was kind of stupid on my behalf, because I gave away a white, 5? I think.
That was from Vineyard 2.
Or do I get the, since it's B is an 8?
Yes,
does it
because
count? So I did do a 9.
9.
Okay, I hope that counts. So I get 1 from A and B.
Yes.
That seems right?
Because that's your overall
Because I
wine.
got my expert went in. Okay, great. Or now we're going to move down. I hope that's correct. I feel like I'm going to lose anyways. Now we're going to go to year 4.
And we flip
season
over
1.
tiles.
We're going to flip over everything. And just so we remember, we can only use 1 of these per essential season. So, I'm going to flip everything over. On my first turn in this year, I'm going to come down to the export market, and I'm going to get rid of my 5, my 10. So 5 plus 5 is 10. And I'm going to put it there. And I'm going to get rid of my... I guess I don't have any other choices, really. I'm going to get rid of my 11. So I've given away all my good high-value stuff that could go to the fair. I hope that doesn't come back to bite me, and put that there. I'm going to get 21 victory points. Oh, as well, we forgot to get our point fair, so we'll do that right now. So I get 21 victory points. So when you cover up a white slot, you get the victory points denoted on there, and then at the end of the game, whoever has the majority gets the victory points listed above. Now for the fair, Lisa won the fair. She's going to get 9 points. And I came in last, but I still get 3 points for basically just be in there. Okay, that is my first action. Your turn, honey.
I'm going to come up here and buy myself some workers. So I only have one winery left that does not have a worker at it. So I'll buy 1 and 1. So my farmer has to go to a vineyard without anyone. So it's going to come in here. And then this one's going to go to my winery.
Rulebook check.
Now, with that being said, I do have enough money to buy myself an additional cellar using my bonus tile. So I will pay 1 and buy myself a cellar. So that gets flipped upside down. I get a cellar. And that slides into place.
That's your turn.
That is my turn. And we did not flip this over.
Ah. See, we continually forget things along the way. Playing on camera is a lot harder than otherwise. So it's a -1 production year. Not a great year. Okay. On my turn, I'm going to flip over a couple of these tiles to begin with. I just looked in the rule book. I verified that with the experts, you're only allowed to flip over 1 per turn. But with these green action tiles, you can flip over as many as you have. I think up to 6, they say. But nonetheless, I don't have 6. I'm only going to flip over 2. So for $1, I get a farmer. And for $2, I get an oncologist. So a total of $3 over here. And I get a couple of these guys. This guy, you can't hold on to him, make him wait anywhere else. He has to go into available vineyard right away. He's going to go down there. Winery, there you go. And then this guy can go anywhere. And you can move these guys at the end of the turn. I usually don't. I'm going to try to get some good wine production going on over here. So I'm going to put him there. Okay, so that is at the start of my turn. Then on my actual turn, I'm just going to move over here. I'm going to sell a 3 red and a 3 white. So I'm going to take 2 of my barrels, red, white, and bring in $6. Now, at the end of my turn, I'm going to flip this one over, this wine expert, to gain an additional $2. Okay. That was my second action. That is my turn.
All right. So for my second action, I only have $3. So not a lot I can do. That being said, I could flip over my tile to get an additional 2. Which is quite tempting at the moment with the -1 coming up. But I think I'm going to... Actually, yes, I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'll flip this over for $2. You can keep my $2. I will move up here.
Okay.
And I will just take an additional...
Yes. That's your turn?
That is my turn.
Okay, so now as we move into production, first thing we do is we can take a barrel back. I'm going to take back my 3 red.
I only had 1, so I snatched it back.
Okay, then we go to production. We all have -1 this year. So my base vineyards, we're going to age everything. I have not aged yet. And then my base vineyards are only going to have a lowly 1 wine. And my other ones will have whatever they have. Oops. So I'm going to have, so that's net 3, 6, -1. So I'm going to get a 5 white here. And over here, I'm going to get a 2 white. So not a strong year for Matthias's vineyards, estates, whatever
And
they are.
neither are mine,
A lot of good
but
value, though.
at
Maybe a 2.
least I have some options.
Mm-hmm.
So we are now done production. We are moving in to the next round or next season.
Oof.
The only thing here, we only have 2. There are only 2 rounds in this fair season. unlike the first one that had 3. So you're kind of engine building in that first round, or that first fair, and then slowly we drop down in numbers of turns before we have to go to the fair again. So you don't want to sell all of your amazing wines because you won't have anything left to go to the fair with. So, right now it is Matthias' turn, as he is first player.
Did we establish if we can use these renown cubes when going to these spots?
So here you can't. Here you can.
If it gets you up to the next level.
Correct. Sorry. Here you can if and only if you have to use it. Here you're allowed to.
Yes?
Yes. That was what I just read.
Okay, well, I'll give you the
But I can double check.
Yeah, you double check. I'm not going there right now anyways.
But that is what I had just
Okay,
read.
she's going to double check. I'm going to jump up here. So that cost me an additional $1 because I hopped over a space. So, $1 in. Now for $6, I'm going to buy 2 cellars. Pretty late in the game to be buying cellars. But my kind of logic is, and I put everything where they would have gone otherwise, is this gives me a few options in terms of holding on to some wine going forward. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't know if I need 2 of them. I guess it is nice to have the flexibility. So I will keep the 2 because I've already paid for them. Am I allowed to use the renown?
Absolutely. You just are not allowed to remove them and not use them. So basically you cannot screw the other player.
So what I'm going to do is, on my turn, I'm going to flip my export tile that I have. I'm going to sell a couple of wines. I'm going
Sell or export?
Export, I apologize. I'm going to take a 5 plus 1, which is a 6.
You cannot.
I cannot. I have messed myself up. So maybe I won't take that action. Or maybe I will for 1 wine. It's not a perfect world, but we don't live in a perfect world. I will take my 7 white over here and put it there. I only had 1 barrel anyway, so not a big deal. I could have got 1 back, but nonetheless. So I'm going to put my 7 white there. That will move me up to 31. As you can probably see right now, I'm jockeying to have at least a say in the majority in this area at the end of the game. Okay, so that is that move, and that's just my first action because I flipped the bonus tile over. Okay, your turn.
All right, so inconveniently, I'm way up here, but luckily I have $2, so I'm going to cross over to here, trade this out for $1, please, because I had to move, and now I have some barrels left, and I would like these 12 points. So in order to get those 12 points at the end of the game, I have to have the majority in this column. So I'm going to export an 8 and a 9. So luckily, right here, I have 5 plus 3 because it's aged. So I have an 8. So that's going to go there. And I will get 8 points on the track. And then I need a 9. Unfortunately, I do not have a 9. But I have a 10 and I can opt to use it as a 9. Because you are allowed to go down. So I'm going to go here and get an additional 9. But that guarantees me that 12 at the end of the game. So I get an additional 9. So I go up to 26.
And I played that wrong. I could probably explain at the end of the game. Should have played a little differently. I could have gotten 2 barrels down, but nonetheless. Okay. So now, heading into my final action, we have a -2 production. So part of my game plan was to have like lowly production in a lot of these vineyards, and in most instances I'm going to have, in 3 of my 5, I'm going to have no production coming up to the next year. Not good. So what I think I will do while I still can, so to speak, I could bring a barrel back, but then that would mean I would only be able to sell 1 barrel. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of good options right now. One thing I can do is I can buy a couple tiles to go into the fair but I'm so far behind it. I'm really wondering if that's going to be worth it. So at this point, I kind of have myself, I'm in between a rock and a hard place. One thing I should have done when I bought my barrels, or my cellars as well, was put down renown cubes. If I had had my renown cube down and actually was paying attention, I could have got my extra barrel down. Nonetheless, that will happen in this game depending how quickly you want to play. If you want to sit here and math out every single play and every move, take a couple hours. We usually play this in about 60 minutes. So mistakes will be made, but games will be played. Okay, as I am just talking in circles, I can tell Lisa wants me to do something. So I think what I'm going to do... I'm going to come all... yes, why not? No. I'm going to flip this guy over. He's going to give me $2. I'm going to just jump down here, take those $2 right back in, purchase a couple of these guys. So I'm going to purchase a blue because I do not have a blue. I'm going to purchase a red because I do not have a red. They're basically going to go up at the fair and give me at least a chance heading into the final fair. All right, that was my turn.
All right, well, now that I know he's going to have a +4 just from the extra points from the experts, I need to get some more experts. Right now, I only have one.
You only have $1.
So I cannot buy one because I'd have to pay him $1.
Mm-hmm.
So, in that case, my best option is either to sell something or to jump ship and go to the fair early, since he's first player, to secure these 3 points.
Well, this is where you have to math it out. So at most, you can have a
10.
Well, it'll age, right? So you're going to have a 12, 14, 15. How many cubes do you have there? 15, 16, 17. Plus you could throw away your thing. At most, you have 18. And you already have a 10-point lead. So I don't know if it's worth you wasting an action to beat me there. Whereas I would think, even though this is against my best interest in trying to win, your soundest play would probably be to come here. Well, do you disagree with that? And just collect some money, especially since you have $1 to your name. However, you could move up here if you wanted to, because you could flip. Oh no, that's only for the player marker. Never mind. So
I will sell a 7 white.
Mm-hmm. Just one?
Just one.
You're not going to sell your 2? Oh, you want to keep that to maybe get a bonus.
I might need a red at some point.
And also you might want to trade that in to grab one of these tiles.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's your turn?
That is my turn, so we are off to production.
We are.
So everybody ages. So my 2, if I don't use it, next round I'm going to lose it.
I have lost a 3 white. Bye-bye.
We're at -2.
Oh, we should grab back a barrel each from that area. Yeah, -2, so I'm going to produce
1,
a lowly
2, 3,
1.
4, 5, 6, 7. So a 5.
So that would be 6 minus 2 is a 4.
You're at 1.
So I'm going to get a 1 and a 4. And all of my other vineyards, which just had regularly 2, will go away.
All right.
Okay, so seeing as Lisa's going to get a gajillion points, it depends. I basically, at this point of the game, I shouldn't say this out loud, but since we're doing this, I'm willing to concede her running away down here in order for me to have some other options. So what I'm going to do is, of vital importance to me since I go first, is I want to make sure I'm at least pulling down 2 of these barrels. So I want to be able to move wine that is going to meet said criteria. So I haven't taken any barrels from C, and that means I have to go from one of the vineyards from 3, 4, 6, and 9. I do have 3, 4, and 6. So I do have a lot of options. And they want at least a 4. So I have 2 cubes over in 4, and she also has a 4. I would rather use 2 cubes here. So that's 2 of them. And plus get rid of a 2 red to get rid of... so I have sold a wine to the fair for 4. And I have also met the C criteria. So I will get 2 of these barrels. I'm going to move ahead 4. And for my bonus, I'm going to take the $3. I'm not going to use any of my experts now. Maybe they're worth more later to me. So that is what I am doing, and I move to there.
Okay.
Now, I think me taking the $3 was actually probably a bad move, but I've already done it.
All right. Well, there's no point in keeping this one. Actually, I'm going to keep this one. And I am going to take a 6 white. And it is from Vineyard 4. He seems to like to use an iron cube, so I'm going to snatch one from him. So it is now a 7 white. I'm going to flip over my tile, so it becomes a 9. And I'm going to stay there. So I go to 29. I'm going to go here because I want to become first player.
That was my error. My $3 was not worth her being first player.
I'm going to take this one because it gives me bonus potential to get a barrel back. And because I sold something that was higher than 4, it was from Vineyard 4, and it was white, I have the choice of my 2 barrels from any of those categories. Because I don't want to leave 2 in the middle, because I won't be able to get both of them next time, I'm going to take one from there. And I'm going to take the top one. Only because... Actually, no. I'm going to take the bottom one because it was from 4. There's a 50-50 chance I will be able to get that top one, depending on if it's red or white, seeing as I only have white as my good wine. Red is kind of my, bottom of the barrel.
Okay.
Now we go over here to the...
Well, let's do this right away because she's already won. We forgot this last time. She is going to get 12 points. So she goes to 38, and I'm going to get 4 points.
So that's from here, from the fair points. Because I'm ahead in the race, overall I get 12 and he gets 4.
All right, you get to select.
So I get to select. So looking at my board and looking at what I can score, this tile at max is likely going to only be worth 3 points to me.
Well, no, it's 3 times each one.
3 times each one, sorry. So
6.
the most is going to be 9 if I buy one additional. This right now would be worth 6. This one I may buy only because it could hurt me significantly looking at his board and how many wines he has. This will give me money, but at the end of the day, money is not worth that many points. $20 is only worth 18 points. So I think... And I have to give up a barrel to do this. So I have 4 barrels. So I am going to take... I'm going to take this one here. Nope, I'm going to take this one. Worth less points to me, but it protects me from some of his. And I have to put a barrel on it for taking it.
You have to get rid of a wine token as well. So this is where I did myself in by taking the $3. It was a very bad move on my behalf, but nonetheless. I'll get rid of a 1 white. And I'm going to take...
You have
I'm going to take this. This is worth 14 points to me. That's a pretty strong one. I was tempted to not take that because I don't think it's worth as much to her, but nonetheless, I will take it. Okay. Your turn.
I am
You're not going to take any more? No. I will throw away a 1 white. I'm going to take this one. I might use it. I might not. Don't really need to, but that gives me some flexibility. Now, since she's passed, she's out. So I can keep going. And I think I might, because this one over here, I'm going to throw away a 2. I have barrels.
Oh, you do have barrels still.
I'm going to buy this. For each one of these that I have, whether it be green or purple, I don't know if this is in frame or not, I've got 5 already. This will be number 6, is worth 2 points. So that's a 12-point tile right there. And then I have 1 barrel left. So now it becomes a point of where do I want to grab a barrel from. I don't think that these guys allow me to take them from up there. I still think I want to keep at least my 1 barrel so I can have a bit of competition down here. Heading into the final playthrough of that area. So that's, I think I will not take any more, even though that might be the bad decision. Okay. So now that we're done, we get to flip all these over one final time. This is the last flip over of the game for these guys. They do not flip after the last fair, but they do flip ahead of this one. Okay. So we're going to move this marker down here. Lisa is first now in player order. I'm going to get rid of this tile. See what our final production is. Another -2.
Ooh, and it's red. So I made the wrong call on the last one. I will only be able...
These should have refilled. You can keep talking.
I buy a cellar. There's one renown cube. Unless I buy a cellar, I can only get 1 barrel after this. So that is something I do need to keep in mind as to how I am going to do this. So I have $8. First thing I'm going to do is go over here. And I am going to... Are there any renown cubes on 5? Oh, look at that. I'm going to take my 2 renown cubes from 5. I'm going to take my 8 white. And I am going to go... Actually, can you put 1 back? I'm going to go 9. So I will take 9. So 38 to 47. I'm allowed to do a second one. So I need an 8 wine. So right now I have a 6 in 5. It's not going to be enough. So I do have my 12. And I think I'm going to use it. So I'll use my 12, but I'm going to go over here to 10.
Okay.
So I take my additional 10, and I go to 57.
Okay. So the way those barrels came up, I am not going to be able to retrieve. It's 1, 2, 5, and 8. I only have a 2 on my board, and all my estates are filled. So I'm going to have to come up here and purchase at minimum 1 additional 2 in order to get myself at least some production and sell it off at the end of the game. I also need the red. So I have an expert here. What this expert will allow me to do is flip. If I flip him over, I'm allowed to use an expert turn. I get to basically sort these how I like. I'm going to put the red on the top. And then for $3, I'm going to purchase the red. Put it down here. That will still allow me to put a renown cube up there. So now when I come to production, I'm at least going to produce a 2, and then I can pull 2 renown cubes off and get a 4. But that, since it'll be a red, and from a 2, I will be able to collect my last 2 barrels. I don't see any value in purchasing any more, so that will be my action for the turn. I do have some of these flip over tiles. I don't think I'm going to use them anywhere. I could have just avoided that, and if I was actually paying attention, I would have flipped this guy for $1 and saved myself an action and a turn doing that. Nonetheless, wasn't paying attention. Not going to be able to do it. Yes, okay, that'll be it.
All right, so we are going on to turn 2. And to start off my turn, I am going to get a cellar for $1. So with my cellar, my wine is a 3. Because we're going to produce and age, my wine's going to become a 5, which now is going to let me get my last 2 barrels. So I'm safe from that perspective. So right now, just to be on the safe side, because he does have so many wine experts, he did buy the bonus tile, so he likely isn't going to use them to try to catch me. But I don't want to give him the opportunity to get those extra 10 points. So I'm going to move myself up here. And I am going to buy, to begin with, I will buy a $2, a blue, and a yellow.
Okay. My turn. I'm kind of sick with how inefficiently I've played this game here. I'm going to pay $1. Because now that when I'm done doing my turns, I start seeing all my errors. Anyways, I'm going to pay the $1 to go down there. I'm going to take a 7 from Vineyard 3. So 7, and I'm going to take a Renown Cube to make it an 8. And I'll put my barrel there. So that will get me 8 points. But the reason I've done that is to not let her run away with all the majorities at the end of the game. So at least I've got one majority, she has one majority. I'm trying to minimize the damage that's going to happen there. But there's a lot of damage coming ahead. Okay, that is my second turn. Since I'm second player, now that would be it. One thing I will do before the end of my turn, I get to flip one of these guys over. So I'm going to flip this guy over and collect $2. Okay, that is that. So now we have moved into production. Everything ages. And then we get to produce. So my vineyards with 2s will get nothing. And I can move this guy before production. I'm going to move him up there. So now it'll at least get a 1. That's what I should have been doing earlier. Nonetheless, I will get a 1. And I will move this guy over here. Oh, no, I can't move him. That'll be it. Okay. So I moved him over there to at least get a 1. That gets nothing. This gets 5. This gets a 3, right? Mm-hmm. So 3 there. 2 here. 1 here. Nothing there. Okay. So now we're on to the third fair. Lisa, I will move these away. Since in player order, she will get to select first.
So, I have no choice. If I want to get my barrels, I need to use a red. And it needs to be a 4 or higher. So luckily, it has aged. Oh, there is a Renown Cube, so I will take it. So it's a 5, 1 Renown Cube from 7, please. So it is a 6. I'm going to flip over this tile for 8. And what is he up to? So if he wants that barrel, he can't send his high wine. So I'm okay with 8.
I'll tell you right now, I'm going to send a 4 red.
So I am happy with having 8 points. So I am going to come and take first. No, I'm happy with second player.
You're orange.
Oh, yes. I'm going to take the $3 because that's going to be the most beneficial to me.
Okay. Is that it?
That is... Oh, wait, I didn't take my points here. So I have an 8 going, so I go to 37.
All right, I'm going to take a 2 plus 2 Renown Cubes is a total of 4. You're allowed up to 2 Renown Cubes. I will do a 4 red. Will move me to a lowly 17. I'm going to take the bonus as this, but I will get... I've met the red criteria. I've met from Vineyard 2 criteria. I do get 2 barrels. Since I went to this spot, that worked out well for me because my bonus tile allows me 2 points for every expert I have. I'm pretty sure it's up to a maximum of 16. It usually will say it on the chip, or on the tile, but I do get 1 more of these guys. I will take one more. I'm trying to see if there's any value to any of these. I don't really see it. I will take this one. Okay, so that goes over to there. So we'll just do our points now. Lisa has earned the winner's seat there. She will go up to 72, 15 points. I will gain 5 points for being last. So you can see by me playing my turtle style has really put me behind. She's gained a few more points here, but not that many. So we'll see how this works out for me. Okay, so that is ultimately that. So now, since I'm ahead in player order here, I'm pretty sure it does allow me to select from here first. I have 2 barrels. Spoiler alert, I'm going to try to get a barrel here. I shouldn't say this out loud because now she is going to just buy as many of these bonus tiles as she can, right?
Nope.
So I'm in between buying extra barrels. Using my barrels here, I can get more money. Right now I'm at $11. You get victory points and money for your barrels. Nonetheless, this gives me 2 points for the number of victory point or barrels I pulled out of here. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to go back and check. In fact, I'll do that right this minute. Actually, it might be in that book. Nope, you got to go. Oh no, you were on the right page. My bad. Okay, right. It's in one of these. That's a 2010. So we go to the front. Apologies, we're there. Okay.
Get 4 VP for each majority you have in a column. So it has to do with this.
Yes. No, this one. Get 2 VP for each barrel you have taken from the magnate. So that would be a 12-point tile. That's probably better than me trying to play the cash game, even though the cash game at $11 will... This tile would be worth net 5 points to me. Not that great. This one is very beneficial for her, but nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and trade out a 2 white, and I'm going to grab this tile. Oh, yeah, it's worth 12 points. That is the best tile for me, and I will put a barrel on it. Okay, here's your.
Well, this tile right now is worth 9 points if I were to get it. This one right now is worth 8.
It's not worth 8. Oh, yes, it is, yeah.
This one is 6 currently. And this one is actually the one I'm going to go with. We have one more turn. If I'm... Oh, these don't flip over again.
Not if you've used them.
Yes. So, in that case, I'm going to take this guy right...
No, but we can talk about what you're going to do here. You do have this tile.
Which lets me buy an additional vineyard.
But you don't have a lot of money.
So I could buy an additional vineyard to fill in the space here.
Yeah. So it'd be worth 8 points.
If it is available.
But this one's already worth 9 to you. So you'd have to put in all that effort to get 8 points. You already have 9 right there. If you jump over here and buy a couple of those guys, you don't have any more vineyards.
That's my problem. And what is showing on number 4? Is number 4 white? So technically I could buy an additional white.
Okay, so that's your one move?
That is my one.
I'm passing. So you have some options here now. If nothing else, like that is worth 10 points. See, my speaking out loud and telling her what my next move would be, I've probably cost myself 15 to 20 victory points. Normal game, I probably would not do that. Did you get rid of a wine, by the way, when you bought your last?
I will.
Okay.
I'm still debating if I want another one. I will take this one.
Okay, you have to get rid of a wine, though.
That is fine.
So now it becomes a real min-max situation because she just got rid of 2 victory points to maybe earn 8. You could sit here all day and try to figure it all out. We're not those people. Do you still want to go?
No, I'm good.
You're good. Okay.
So we get one turn.
We get one final action. Now, with your one final action, if you have these tiles, you can start flipping them all over the place. I'm not really going to do that. What I am going to do is I'm going to flip this expert over. You're allowed 1 per turn. So I'm going to get $2. Doesn't do anything for me. I'm going to flip this action tile over, which allows me to export. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to export this. I have a 10 down here. I want to export basically just as the minimum amount because I can get 9 victory points out of that. So I'm going to take I do not have a renown cube. So I would have to take from 6. So this is 9. I won't use a renown cube. There's no point in it. I will go there. That will give me 9 points.
How can you... Did you not finish your turn there?
I did, but I turned this guy over.
What a smart man.
So that was 9 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because that's the one thing. You never want to end on this spot, or this spot basically in the last round, because then you can't redo that action unless you have one of these bonus tiles. I also have this bonus tile which would allow me to go to export market, but I don't have any more barrels. So on my actual turn, I don't really have much to do other than try to get in her way. Buying any vineyards doesn't make any sense for me. Nothing really makes sense for me, so I'm just going to straight up go up to the pass area. Doesn't cost me any money. So that's the best move for me.
So let me just see here what money is regular. So if I spend even $1, I lose 4 points. So buying an additional winery to get 4 points doesn't make sense because I would have to spend $3 and therefore I'd be losing 4 points.
That tile didn't make sense.
So, nonetheless, I purchased it.
We have this +2 guy over here.
And I will... But, so I'm going to go and sell a wine. So I am going to sell number 5. I do have 1 renown cube, so I can sell $6 worth.
7.
Oh, because of the yes, absolutely. So for 7 white. So can I have my $7, please? And I'll actually take 9 because I'm going to flip this over.
Yeah. So here's 10. Give me back a buck.
And now that is going to score me 12 points.
There you go. Okay, so that is it. So first thing we'll do is we're going to score the majorities, just because it's the easiest thing to do. So she's going to get 12 points, and I'm going to get 18 points. So that takes me to 75 even, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Is that right? Yes. Okay. So that's that. Now we'll go in actual board order. Money. I have $13. So I'm going to get 7 points for my money. And you're going to get...
I have $17, so I'm going to get 12 points.
Okay.
Next, we have wine divided by 2. I have 9, so I will only get...
Each one scores separately.
Sorry, so I'll get 2 and 2, so I'll have 4...
3.
Sorry, 6 and 5, so I'll get 3 and 2, so I'll have 5 points.
Okay. I'm just going to count them in victory points. 2 victory points, 3 victory points, 7 victory points, 9 victory points. Is making sense? Mm-hmm. 11 victory points, plus 4.
15.
15 victory points. Okay. So that takes me to 97. I'm getting close here. Okay. Now what?
Now we already jumped the gun.
We've already jumped the gun and done that.
So now it is our purple tiles.
This is where it's coming down.
Except you just messed up. You shouldn't have taken those up. Oh, no, it doesn't matter. You don't have this tile.
No.
So my bonus tile is how many wines do I have left? I only have 2 wines left. So this tile and my barrel is only worth a lowly 4 points.
Is that how that one works?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Then my farmers are worth 3 each. So 3, 6, 9. And the number of vineyard or estates that I have fully filled, 4. And I have 1, so I get 4. So I do not have a very large gap considering the number of tiles he has to score.
Okay, so I'm going to get 16 from this one. This is every expert that I have is worth 2 points. So I have 8, so 16. So 3 plus
13. So right now, I'm pretty much done for.
Barrels that I took out, that's 12.
Yep.
I took all 6.
So without scoring anymore, he has won the game.
But why not? Why not score a little bit more?
Exactly. He wants to be able to rub it in.
For the number of...
Stomp those grapes.
For the number of green and purple tiles, I get 2 points. I have 7. So that's another 14.
He really likes to grind it in.
Uh-huh. Like a mash joke would be better for a wine game. Grind, yes.
I apologize.
Okay. Well, you
My
got this
puns
barrel
are
back.
incorrect.
Did you get this barrel back at the end of your...
You
use that. You just put it down.
Yes, I just saw.
Okay. So I think she could have won if she had played this a little more strategically. Yeah. Okay, so that is Vinhos. Hopefully the correct version. I'm sure there might be an error in there, but if there is anything, please note it in the comments, and it wasn't malicious or on purpose.
All right, well, I hope you guys enjoy a glass of wine while you play.
Well, we can
Vinhos.
Still go back over our thoughts now that we've kind of played it correctly. Because I think playing it incorrectly in the past, one of my points was this became a real war zone, and we would never use the purple end of game bonus tiles because we had to fill 20 of these slots, and we didn't have that many barrels. Now that it's a lot tighter, as it should be, and as it was designed to be in a 2-player game, I do feel now that we'll play these purple tiles a little more, and then it becomes a little more strategic in terms of me trying to like keep points away from her and vice versa, and also just trying to maximize this out.
And also right from the beginning, not every tile comes out, but the majority of them do, and depending on your turn order, you may strategically in the fair want to go to the fair early so that you get one of the first player to pick the tile you want, because you could theoretically, as he just proved, forget about the fair scoring and really min-max your end of game bonuses. So that's something we've never played. We've only ever taken 1 or 2 of the end game bonuses because we wanted to save all of our barrels for the export market, and we'd fight over the export market action space. Now I find that the game plays much more balanced and offers you opportunities to try different strategies. Like we said, this was the first time playing with hopefully all of the correct rules, and it really changed that dynamic and made it more enjoyable.
Yeah, I agree. I would say though, this one tile that you can flip over and go to the export market in a 2-player game, now that there's only 9 slots, that is really...
quite powerful.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So you might even want to change the turn. For the most part, I would never say... You never want to burn one of your... Like, you get to move around the board 13 times. You do get all the extra bonus actions from flipping. But I don't think you would want to burn one of your actions unless you could get this tile. And if you can get this tile just off of, like, basically first player order at the start of the game, that's a huge advantage.
Absolutely.
I wasted it basically at the end of the game, but since I was already sitting there, that gave me plethora of points because I was able to get that last little box that you were probably going to come over and get yourself.
Absolutely.
I assume you were waiting for that.
So right there, that was 17 points, 17 that one points. Move.
And in a 2-player game, it's a 34-point swing, right?
And depending on which space it was, it could be worth, up to 21 points.
Yeah, very powerful. But no, I like playing it the way it was intended to play. I think we'll play again. I'm sure we've made an error here somewhere. But I think we'll play it again a few more times on the 16 side, and then we're ready to flip the board over to the 2010 side. There's essentially 2 games. This is almost the beginner game, which hopefully we have down to a point. You play solo, you play on this side of the board as well. But if you flip over to the 2010, the fair is handled much differently. There's also a banking system and a few other little things.
You don't have the same... income strand that you have here.
Yep.
It's actually a banking system, so a little more technical, a little more strategy and tactics required than this side, but it's incredible to have both games in one box because it basically gives you an intro into the world of wine per se, and then you can go into the more advanced gameplay on the other side.
Yeah, I'd say component wise amazing. It's an expensive game, so one would expect high quality components, but the visual design's great. Love the little barrels. Everything's double-sided. Even the player boards, I was going to flip it over, but they're double-sided as well for which version you're playing. Cardboard is super
quality.
Super thick, yeah.
And just the custom meeples for the game, just give it that extra. They could have used cubes for barrels. They could have used just your standard meeples in different colors. But having the actual little custom meeples with the, I would believe it's a scythe for the farmer, a wine glass for your oenologist, the barrels that actually have like the metal rungs on them in the wood, just add to the theme and the quality. It just goes to show that the quality of the game was important to the designer.
I usually sigh when I make a wine joke, so it works with the Meeples. Okay.
Keep drinking.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Okay, I think that is pretty much it. Do we have anything else to add? Oh, I guess the one thing we usually do is whether or not this game goes the distance from a replayability standpoint. Lisa?
I thought it went the distance before, but with the actual rules, I think it's just improved the game for us. And the game definitely goes the distance. And will be staying in our collection.